Good morning, everybody. Put on your neck brace. A little whippy out there. All right, let's get to it. All right, that is not a bad tick on the interest rates and bonds. So we've talked about this head and shoulders pattern that had formed. And essentially it looked like it was going to whip back up again with the bottoming tail, and then it whipped back down. There's been lots of whip arounds, and now today we have another whip around. So one bar does not change anything, but the price action is kind of crazy and makes it uncertain. We don't know where this is going to end the day, but if it closes with a bottoming tail bar like that, it would suggest it's going to try to attack this. And what we want with a pattern, regardless of whether it's interest rates, Apple Computer, XYZ, is after it cracks, a pattern that suggests lower is that it stays lower or at least goes sideways, after the break. So, like I said, it's one bar. But if it was to close like this, and look, we look at retracement concepts. If it, and this is common sense, get the drawing thing out here. If this was to close like this and retrace back up to the 20, which is just a subjective reference point, right? But that's what I have on the chart. And it retraces back up to the top of the big red reversal bar. That's a concern for this pattern failing. And if interest rates push up, it's not going to be a good thing for equities, which are whipping around. So before I get to equities, do we have weather skipper? Yeah, batting the hatches. Well, I'm exaggerating, but look, because it's one bar so far, but it's erratic price action. Um, here's the 10-year, the bonds. Right? So we were looking at yields. There's the bonds, and it initially goes in the direction of the opposite pattern of yields. Right? It has to be head and shoulders bottom, jiggles around, breaks out. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, triggers and whips right back down again. And you can see bonds are continue to go down, so interest rates are continue to go up. At the moment, equities are holding up relatively well. They've whipped around, but just back to the same thing we've been talking about: erratic price action, uncertainty, schizophrenia, and this thing's got room to fall. So, as always, look to the left and see what the reaction is at the pivot over there in that area. Now, if you're looking at the yields, they're moving up and pre-market, blah, 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 blah. Oh, this has got gaps, but anyway, look around this 4.5 or so. You can see there on the 65 minute. But so, all right. So interest rates knocking things around. Futures are still green. So, bulls are hanging on. They got their claws in, their horns in, what have you. Things came back after the drop yesterday around 2:30, and they came roaring back. So there's a bid under there. They are not giving it up. They cannot, so far, get it going. Yesterday's theme was technical headwinds, and the technical headwinds is coming up into a resistance area. Uh, so this was, the news on the tariffs. This one I believe was the news on DeepSeek, right? So we have these news items that are coming out that are rattling confidence, and the buyers step in again, but they don't make any significant progress. And so we're waiting, on these patterns. That's the bottom line. So no matter how you cut it, you can put a gazillion indicators on there, trend lines, fib lines, so on and so forth. It's basically running in place. And we wait for something decisive to happen. With bonds doing what they're doing, maybe something decisive will happen today. It's really not at the moment. Let's get rid of these stupid lines. I was talking about this the other day. All right, so it's coming up to where the pivot high is. It's jiggling around here. It whipped up, it whipped down, it came back up again. It's just essentially going sideways. If you put this on a closing basis, it's done nothing since yesterday so far, right? Because it eliminates the tails, and you have a chart that's doing, and now it's just jiggling around over here. Dow is up a little bit. It's just wiggling around, not doing much of anything. The Russell down a little bit here, but it came back from this. So far, it's sideways. Right now, it's doing nothing. If it can continue here into the end of the day, we'll set an alert above here and we'll see if it breaks out, because this is where the opportunity was back here, and it couldn't break out. It whipped down and it came up. So for the moment, it appears to be bullish price action where it's consolidating at resistance, but not doing anything yet. Right. So whether you're a bond trader, whether you're an equities futures trader, ETF trader, you're either sitting on the sidelines or you're just getting smacked on one side of the face and then getting slapped in the other side of the face, and probably getting very weary. Transports weakness. They got rejected yesterday. We've got a lot of nothing for the most part going on here as well. And, you know, just look around as we always do, see if we find something. That's interesting, right? Regional banks moving up toward resistance. So that's a plus. Some of the money center banks moved up, right? Made new all-time highs yesterday. That's a plus. And so we have positive things, we have neutral things, we have negative things. Right? A lot of, I don't really know. So we can look at value, which is not doing anything. Is this retracing up to resistance where it can consolidate, maybe go higher? Does it break this low and get a sell? We look at growth. Not bad, but essentially going nowhere, just whipping around, keeping our expectations in alignment with what is, what we hope. And, well, we can, here, equally weighted, not doing anything. And we look at the different mags, Magnificent Seven, and they're not doing anything. But Microsoft was beaten down, Apple was beaten down, Google was beaten down, Amazon was I can type here, Amazon whipping around so far, holding up there. It's down here a little bit. I think it was look where my cursor is on the daily chart. That ain't pretty. Gapping down there. What was it? QCOM yesterday. That got shellacked, but I think came back. Yeah, bottoming tail bar. But again, a lot of accidents, a lot of nervousness. It is what it is. All right, let's move on. Gold is up here, hanging, hanging high at new all-time highs after pushing far from the 20. That's positive. Silver has been a laggard, but so far holding up. That's coming up off of the low here. So, jiggles going on there. Uh, just for the moment, you know, this is just, currencies for the most part, just kind of jiggling around. The Canada got whipsawed big time on the tariff news, and that came back up. So again, equities, bonds, currencies, you know, you're getting your neck snapped. All right. SPY, SPX, hanging up there, right? Not a big deal. Up near yesterday's high. You got, I think it's called a hangman thing, but it's not gapping down. We just look at it as slowing momentum, small candle body. So essentially for the moment, a little up a little bit or unchanged. Not a big deal. SPX, nothing was even come close to being touched yesterday. You can review yesterday's pre-market commentary on that if you like. And let's see what we got here. 15 that comes up a little bit. So even with the whipsaw, it's still inching up 5 handles. So they are still bullish. Which yesterday was, okay, it moved up and the call strike went way high. Was that a little bit of irrational exuberance yesterday? The markets went nowhere. And this, of course, is going up. And I just look at the number and know the pattern. And I think to myself, with bonds doing what they're doing, can the S&Ps go up and make new all-time highs today? Stranger things have happened, but I highly doubt it. And it's got to get through those two pivots to do it. So good luck to that. And the bonds doing what they're doing. I'm going to go back and look at that for a second just to see if they stopped at that pivot. I think ideally, not ideally, really. It's just who the hell wants this sideways price action to continue? But nothing we can do about it. I think it essentially stays between this area. So one positive you could take away from this, which I mentioned in prior weeks, is the big open interest in puts and calls at 6,000, and you've got, you know, 3 days and maybe four closing above that level, but there's also this tendency for it to get yanked back toward that level. So, being up here, it may come here, and at that point, we'll be thinking, hey, can it make a higher low? Is it going to close back below 6,000? All of that is the unknown. So I'm just kind of filling in a little time here, talking what, you know, I'm thinking in the moment. Uh, you got the 20 and the 50 down here converging. So, I mean, again, this 6,000 area, if things start to, you know, jiggle around into the beginning of next week, and of course, there'll be more economic reports and more Trump news and who knows whatever else is going to be coming. So far, so good, I think. Little, craziness, but whatever. That's what we voted for. Those of you that voted yes, um, drain the swamp, cut the stupid expenses. Um, so my expectation is it ain't going to make new all-time highs today. It's probably not going to close down below 6,000. So, just do what we do in intraday. Let's take one peek at those bonds again. And so, look, they're stabilizing right where you would expect them to be for the moment, but you've got a giant wide range bar down. So we'll see how this unfolds. That's what we do day to day. All yours, Dan.
Good morning. Whoop, whoop. All right. So, yeah, we have a ton of gappers here. Earnings. I posted a big old list, and the list is going to be too big for me to watch. So I'll tell you as I go through what I think are the tier ones, and then, as always, I could use help monitoring. We did a bunch of earnings trades last night, actually, selling credit spreads, but I'll just get to them in order. So my old alarms here, White House, beautiful igniting gap reversal, beautiful 1, 2, 3, 4. It's gapping up here, so I said sell a third pre-market. Looks great. X, yeah, I mentioned X yesterday morning. My alarm went off, but I wasn't crazy about the void, and there wasn't enough on the put spread. Yeah, Alex mentioned these two yesterday. Yep, they look good. I posted Sam's Bank, WBS, Webster Financial. They started off making dictionaries, and then they went into the banking business. So that looks good as a new trade. Beautiful 1, 2, 3 on the weekly. So that's a bank I posted. USB is actually a sell setup. So I have an alarm down here, 47.50. Let's just go to earnings. I got a ton of them. Yeah, I think you're chasing on banks too, and as I've been saying for the last couple of days, also, we got to be careful on broader market. I mean, we'll trade compelling patterns, which we have been, and we have a ton of beautiful opens. But the musical chairs are going to stop one of these days. I don't know when. 15. I've been trading off of my bias has been the 15-minute chart on the horseman because there's no pattern on the daily, and they've just been grinding higher. All right, Amazon 232, tier one, 0 DTE call spread, 10-minute low. So tier one, 1138, gapping right here, 30-minute high, 30-minute high, put spread, and it could be starting to make a bottom, but too sloppy for me. Pins. Remember Wednesday we talked about gaps. So this is bullish as can be gap. Gapping from this bull flag consolidation. But today's Friday. So 30, I call it an excessive gap. I mean, come on, it's gapping $7.50. That's 20%. So 30-minute low, 0 DTE call spread, microchip. That's surely been lagging. I got no pattern there. Maybe 0 DTE also. Affirm. Now that's a bullish gap that I do not want to fade. This is one I want to watch a controlled pullback to put on a bullish position. Poor Leslie. Look at that gap into these lows. Look at these 3 moving averages. This thing could be headed to the graveyard. I mean, look at this weekly bar. Breakout failure, range igniting. If that's not a tell of damage, I don't know what is, but they don't look so hot. All right, this one, bullish gap, but it's on my 0 DTE call list. And so is net, gapping up $15. Bullish, but excessive. I mean, when I say excessive, I'm saying potentially excessive. We got to see what happens in the first hour. but that's my bias. G Pro, remember I was laughing yesterday saying, is this thing still in business? I thought one of the things we're talking about buying them, but it's garbage. Elf, beautiful gap and snap candidates. Down a lot. It's a Climo. And now you're gapping down $20. Perfect setup. 30-minute time. So that's tier one. And this one's substantially different. Substantially. It's a nasty bearish gap. But let's see what it does here at the 200. So that could be a 30-minute high put spread, even though it's a nasty gap. VSAT, deleting you. Expedia 193. Bullish as can be. Bullish as can be. And it's holding strong, but I'll put it on my list. Possible 30-minute low, call spread. Docs, $70. Again, bullish as can be. So these, I would never consider a 7-dayer on these, at least not yet. So I'm just talking 1 DTEs. I'm sorry, 0 DTE. T2, we shorted the 162.5 puts down here. So these expired today. So I'm bidding 1 penny. I mean, you can let it expire full profit if you want. But I just like, I don't want to have to babysit it. So I'll pay a penny. And if you did, I know we first talked about doing a short strangle. So if you did that 30-minute high on the call side, Bill 64, nasty gap, but to the 200. Let's see what this does. There's a lot of interesting gappers here today. It's going to be a busy morning, Don. Hope you got some sleep last night. All right, this shows 80.52. Let's set an alarm at 81 and then just move on. Because this could be a buy setup, trigger over a red bar. Alarm 81. And Illumina. It's not nearly as clean of gap and snap as ELF is, but it is potential gap and snap. So that's put spread watch, FBIN. That's a bearish continuation gap. Remember Wednesday's class, igniting gap, sideways on support, gapping under, continuation bearish gap. So we could watch that both for directional and call spread, manpower. And I mean, folks, we shorted the 460 puts, $200 lower. That's crazy. And I forget, like $1.40. What was it? I'm in all these. I did all 4 of them. All right, manpower. I'm bidding, a nickel to get out. All right, this isn't okay. Trade price 110. All right, so I got in this at 110. SSNC. Gap's too big, but bullish. This is a grinder. This is what we call this self-correcting grinding uptrend. A grinder, but gap's too big. I don't see any prints. Onto 198. This is a condor idea. Condor. Because it's gapping in the middle of the range, pretty much. 210 calls, 182.5 puts. I hope you option traders are going to help me. 130 excessive gap. We'll come back to it. I don't have a bias. Gillette, $54. Possible 0 DTE. Otex over this red bar, maybe 30-minute high for the spread. Sina, it shows that it's $78. If so, put spread idea. Mohawk we did. Man, oh, I forgot to put my order in on this. All right, I had to put an order in on my manpower puts. All right, Mohawk, we shorted the 105s. So, and it's gapping up. It's hard to tell where it's going to open. The level 1 is 122 by 129. But I'm going to wait, I'm bidding a nickel. We'll come back. The spread's got to tighten. These spreads are going to be friggin' asinine at the open. Reg, it's too messy. Let's see where it's trading. VeriSign 217. No interest. CDP gapping down. Call spread idea. Warren, I don't see any prints, and it's garbage. LEU 94. Bullish gap. See that's an igniting gap. That looks great. So watch that on a pullback. Both direct. Wow, you got the gap fill here, so I don't like it as a directional, but put spread. Post, I did not do anything with this one. I don't see any prints. Pro, it shows it up at 26. It's bullish, but I got enough to watch. 38.50. If it does open at 38.50, then call spread idea. Willius. Call spread. RGA 220. Bearish gap. Call spread. PFG. Remember what I just said? If it can get above this bar, but now the gap's too big. All right, White House. White House gap. Okay, White House down alarm. But we sold some pre-market WBS. Sam, this is yours. So that's a go. Now it's up 4 bars. I get that, but you had a little 1, 2, 3 here, and then a gap breakout, bottoming tail. But I gave the stop under Wednesday's low, because yesterday's low is too tight. All right, I don't hear any bells yet, so all of my limit orders are not filled, and that's probably because of the jerk spreads. But I'll go through them in 5 minutes. All right, let's watch. We want to watch tier 1s. I didn't obviously get through the rest of my list here. All right, ELF. ELF has a bearish pre-market, so that is not ready. I can tell you right now. The best ones is when the pre-market pattern supports the trade. So I would want ELF to be a Climo pre-market. MSOS alarm, this bottoming pattern. Hey, SKX buyers, see, I had no idea what this would do, but this was my excessive gap category, but it's run too much. So nothing I can do. Great, Tesla. Oh no, Tesla's, never mind, we're past our break even. But I just had an up alarm. All right. Oh, thanks, Brent. Yeah, I didn't even look. I didn't even think. All I did was look at patterns and put them on that list. IONQ alarm, still nothing to do early. Lemonade alarm. We shorted a put spread yesterday. Let me just reset it higher. Q's moving here. Cisco, Meta, Tesla, Netflix, Google relative weakness of all the things. Let's see where we're at on our gain on Lemonade. There is Mohawk. Yeah, the friggin' spreads are what's killing us. Oh, that 10-cent bid is me. Or anybody else who followed me. All right, Lemonade. Yep, we're back in a profitable territory. Look at that T2 middle chart. K-Web up alarm. There's no pattern, but wow. GNK low alarm. Shoot, this thing's not acting right. Let's keep the stop. Don, I just covered some. I sent it at 25 and got filled instantly. So maybe they're a little spreading. Manpower. Yeah, stupid friggin' spreads. The 5-cent bid is me. That's 0 by 150. Same with PAL. The 5-cent bid is me. It's 5 cents by 120. Man, these spreads are just so friggin' annoying. Block alarm. Block alarm, but it's still just big old trading range. Look at this flat 2050. Really nothing to do. All right, L, nothing. Let's CLSK was on my list, but that's moved too much. Let's look at these couple that I had typed out. LEU, Gap and Go. And I'm assuming, I mean, you can look at, I'm gonna need help. I can't look at them all, but you can see if there's any puts under that base. G said call spread idea, 30-minute low. Onto, I said call spread. I'll check the 215s. GoDaddy up alarm. That's a put spread expiring today. Onto, there's no weeklies and the 215s. They don't have 215s and they're spready. So it's a trifecta of no. Wow, Qs are on their own page here.
Semiconductors. But they're up against resistance like everything else, and 4 days up.
Well, I've been saying that for 3 days, but the 15-minute chart's a grinder and there's a void. So my bias, which is rare.
They just got to resistance.
Well, I understand, but you got the gap fill resistant, there's multiple areas on the hourly chart.
Well, look at my chart.
Here, USB. call, I'm sorry, a 30-minute low directional. That's a sell setup. My early alarm just went off. All right, GoDaddy. I said bid a dime. We should, that's a nice, well, it's not a bull rectangle per se because there's no flagpole, but it's just bullish consolidation. So yeah, we should have made our target here of a dime. Yeah, that's 0. So we're at a GoDaddy at a dime. It was a little touch and go during the week. Diamonds IWM a big nothing here. All right, Lemonade, let's move stuff break even. Let's see, X. Yeah, I posted Cliff Clavin over the high to buy calls. So that still looks great. Even better if it closes like this. Why? Because you got 26 more bullshit 15-minute bars. Trip, yeah. It's a watch. It's that. Now see, that's a bull rectangle, Thomas. That's a bull rectangle. Here's my flagpole. Here's my rectangle. So yes, let's put that on the watch list. I'm assuming that's up with Expedia, cousin. All right, I finally got filled on one thing. Okay, my T2 I'm out at a penny. All right, T2 got filled, but none of those other stupid spready ones. Oh, it's checking puts on this. I'd love a 0 DTE here on this, the 1750s. Rip. 0 by 20. So you know what? You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna try to I'm gonna put an order in at 15. And then the 17 puts are 5 cents by 10. I'm sorry, says 5 by 15. So I'm gonna try to sell the midpoint of 10 cents. Look at that. Does anybody think this is going to 17? I mean, of course it can. I just asked a question. Do you think? So I'm going to try to sell a 10 lot for a dime. See if I can fill them. Wow, that elf is in frigging pain today. USB. That's let me reset the alarm. About 47.38. I see that Boyd came in. Oh, Boyd was a gap and crab. Remember yesterday? That was bullish. So, Greg, any interest in USB? Swing?
Hold on. Yeah. Well, it's got to break the lows, but yeah.
Well, yeah, of course, yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
All right, short under 47.39. Emitter up alarm. USB. Hey, Sam, do you know what USB started as before it was a bank? They they make those ports, USB ports, you know, for your laptop. Emitter. Emitter is a small bull rectangle and a 1, 2, 3, 4. Emitter looks great. We're already in it. Been in this for 3 weeks. Remember, Sam? Core long, 3 weeks. All right. G. Let me see if there's a zero DTE. There's no weeklies, and the 60s are 0 by 15. So, watch it on your own for a day trade short. You got to climb though using pre-market data. Trip, not trip, aluminum. These are just some excessive gaps. So see this one I said, it's a sloppy gap and snap. Let's see if there's any juice. 110 is only 20 cents. I don't think so. Mr. Bill is getting killed. I just don't understand how companies can be this friggin' off in one quarter. The 59s for today, 25 by 55, but there's zero turn. Here, I'll put it here. And this elf. Yeah, turn green. It's not a bad daily bar here after 15 minutes. Let's see what the juice bar has. I wouldn't do it unless it did 30-minute high myself. All right, so the 63s, 35 by 62. But let's watch it. I got it on the bottom right. Yeah, seeing that's a gap and go. That's not one to fade. Cliff Clavin, up alarm triggering. This was gonna be long calls on Cliff Clavin. I shorted $10 puts yesterday, but yeah, Cliff Clavin looks good. All right, here was Cliff Clavin trade. I'm not sure if I posted it pre-market or not. Let me see if how our quotes are. $10 calls for next week are 79 by 89, and I said, yeah, 87. Actually, I'm gonna try 85. Yeah, filled 85. So Don, you see how I do this, how I come up with these numbers? Is because I see how much intrinsic value there or extrinsic value there is and how much I'm willing to pay for the luxury of having a long call or put. Yeah, no, I'm just illustrating for other people. But you see how friggin' accurate we are most of the time?
You're accurate. XMTR.
We're already in it. I didn't have an alarm go off, but let me look.
Got a 46-cent spread, so be aware if you're going to hit it now. It's kind of wide for a $37 stock.
Very wide. About, um, yeah, came close to our break-even stop yesterday, but yeah, looks a lot better. Look at the pre-market, gapped up, bullish consolidation. Yeah, I like it. At the top of the range, I'd prefer if it did that through the whole day and then after 3 p.m. do it. XMTR. Yeah, 41-cent spread. Yeah, that's huge. Let me check calls on this. Those are just as spready. 240 by 360.
eBay can't get any elevation going, but it ain't doing really much other than can't go up.
All right, Elf worked, but I wasn't happy with the premium. IONQ, still too early for me, but I like it. If it closes like this, I like it Monday over yesterday's high. Wow, look at SKX is whippy, whippy, whippy. Look at that tail. And I got filled on Manpower at 10. They did not fill me at a nickel, so I'm just going to kill it because it's 2 weeks to expiration. Um, Alex, does Sam have any Manpower? See, look, whoever tells me I make fun of Sam too much, look at what Sam just did. See, that's the sign of a true jokester and team player. He makes fun of himself. All right, done with Manpower. And Lazy Boy, talking about him, no pattern. All right, I'm getting pretty close to being up to date. Mohawk. Wow, Mohawk midpoint is 30. Let's close this at the midpoint. My 10 cents didn't get filled and it's coming in. So Mohawk makes those axes that they use for fighting. So for $1.15, we'll take it. Greg, XLRE. Remember we were talking about that? Yeah, Q's hit a brick wall. Yeah, see if there's any zero DTE call spreads now. Ah, they make Tomahawk missiles. Oh, my bad. I thought it was the Axis. RSG is a grinder. Put it on the list. The grinder looks good. The grinder, I just don't like grinders when the market's up so much at resistance. And rig team, gap up and now pull back. Yeah, for me, it has to take out yesterday's high, but hopefully it closes like this. All right, I'm out of Mohawk. Ow. Not filling me at 10 cents. Let me try 15. Jerk. Let me try 20. Build at 20. So let's do the same, just because these are 2 weeks to expiration and they're spreading. So trimming. Getting sloppy here. That must be a 10 a.m. 10 a.m. 10. I can't speak. 10 a.m. number slopping around. Nothing. Pins. Pins. Let me see the juice bar. 41s. 20 by 28. The highest, yeah, that's the 41s. Yeah, that's the trade. You like it? Short, naked 41s, 24 cents. So if you're so inclined, let's see how it closes. I mean, it's an igniting gap. So, like I said, I wouldn't do it for wow. Q's the day's low here. Apple, a lot of ugly reversals in the fangs. Google's friggin' nosediving. Microsoft. And Meta's holding the best. AD line's negative all day, negative 520. Remember FTNT, I said? I just didn't get around to it. I said it was a possible zero DTE. SKX, nothing. Expedia. Expedia is a bullish gap. Man, that's a buy on a pullback. Hey, we should check Expedia sector. If you want to go to TC, put in Expedia, I'll do it when I catch up. But let's see if there's other kernels in the Expedia. Look at that freaking igniting gap on docs. Incredible. Now see that's a gap that should not get filled based on the gap in the morning action. That should not even take out today's low in the next day or two or three. Let me go through opens again here. Yes. Yeah, bottoming pattern, I'll put on the list. But it's just like there's no something bar, so it's still questionable strength. Vico Soaring. Yeah, it's kind of a sloppy bear flag. But I like the 15-minute breakdown, sure. ABBV, we got break even stop, CMCL, it's a little gold one, we got break even, GMK stop. Oh, this actually stopped 1446. Um, we had a half lot. Yes, the dead money, but holding MBOT, break even stop, Mixer stops 509, looks great. Playa, doing nothing. Powell. Oh, I closed Powell at 20. All right, so you're done. Still, our gold. Still. 35. When yeah, under yesterday's low. What's Mister doing? Yeah, I like Mister over these highs. I'm gonna put that in the weekend letter, but it has to get over the weak high. Yeah, trip. I was watching a pullback. I'm shorting puts. I did not get filled. TMF. We know the yields gap down, but we have break even stop. Tesla, we're short. It's going nowhere. UG, UGI stop 31.68. Just let it play out. 5 cents away. ATZ. Pull back into a WRB. Looks good. Yeah, if it closes like this Monday and today's high. White House, I said move it 30-minute low. Actually, let's move it under this. Well, today's low's fine. 698 White House. All right, everything updated now. So let me go back to earnings stocks. Good. Not the only new trade I took today. Yep, good continuation breakdowns here. Q's the weakest. Q's and IWM are through their closing 15-minute pivot from yesterday. Eliminate. Hmm. REGM, nice consolidation, maybe for another launch next week. This one got killed yesterday. I was watching. Hey, it's 1, 2, 3. Let me check the juice for next week. 62. Oh, there is no next week. And the 60 certainly 20. So forget about it. I'll set the alarm at 67. All right, earning. Him gave it up. Gap. That Avatar turned into garbage. That nice igniting bar. See if we can get a 1, 2, 3 next week. Wow. ATR tanked after that small gap up. Flow gave up the gap. Newell, man. Sam, what did I say yesterday? Oh, no, you were at Rick's. You were not helping me with earnings. So let me ask somebody who was here. Alex, what did I say about this pattern yesterday? I said, if it opens flat, short the heck out of it. Alex, remember we were also talking about buying the $9 puts, but I said the 35 cents or 65, whatever it was, 35 or 65, I said was too expensive. That would have turned out to be a home run if we bought them at 35. Wowzer, that would have been a home run. Yep, ULCC, Frontier. Hey, this is where Bat 2-1 flies. Let me make fun of them. I said ULCC is a Superior Airline. Let's see what he says. CGC. What's MSauce doing? MSauce, I'd sell the 350s. If there's any juice. 5 by 8 cents is all. MSauce, let's watch. This looks like garbage. Cooter has to break out or else stay away. Boy, wow, that got whippy this morning. MGM from yesterday. I like MGM now over yesterday's high. So alarm 3480. $33.50s right at the 20 MA. Hey, there's juice. Let me double check earnings. 212. See that? TradeStation is wrong again. And I believe Telex TS because the volatility is friggin' rocked. It's sell the 31s for 20 cents, the 32s for 35. It's in a downtrend though. Yep, check his cousin. Lift a superior pattern. I think I mentioned this yesterday when I looked at it. Lift is a beautiful bottoming pattern. I wish we looked at it earlier, Don. Oh, earnings 211, darn it. But let me check. I'll do. I know. So Sam, remember, are you here, Sam?